Hi, I'm Jan Doyle. Welcome to Wyse Talk. I am so happy to have today's guest here. I've known him for about 100 years going into his store, and he's agreed to come and talk about a subject that I love, sewing and quilting. Our guest's name is Paul Gattinella. What did I mess up your last? Gattinella. Okay.
You're nervous.
I messed up his last name. Gattinella is his last name. You had to forgive me. He's the owner of Close to Home in Orange, particularly, but there are other branches in Southington and Glastonbury. Welcome, Paul.
Thank you, Jan.
Now, today's conversation is really a result of one. Or today's show is really a result of one conversation I had with my friend Maureen. We were talking about sewing machines, and she doesn't sew. I don't know how she could be my friend, but she doesn't sew. And we were talking about the one that she does have, and she got it from a big box store. And continuing the conversation, I asked her if she had a needle threader, which to me is essential in any sewing machine you purchase. And she didn't even know what it was. What she tries to do is she tries to stick in the thread from a distance, and she's miserable. So today's topic, we're going to be talking about entry-level sewing machines that not only for adults, but she has a granddaughter, Morgan, who I believe is 7. And we talked earlier before the show that even a child can use these machines with the proper supervision. So you're here to talk about entry-level sewing machines. I just want to point out that I started with a treadle machine. Do you even remember treadle machines? Are you that young? You're that young.
Sometimes I see them as decorations.
Yeah, well, I loved my treadle machine. Please tell your sewing manufacturers to bring one back so we can exercise when we sew. I'd appreciate that. Now, Paul, let's start with this machine right here. Tell me about this machine.
So this is a basic machine that's good for beginners or just someone who wants a simple machine.
Why is it good for beginners?
It's inexpensive and it works well and doesn't have a lot of fancy stitches, just a few simple sewing stitches. It has a light, has a needle threader, easy to thread. It's portable. So, someone who's just starting out, and they don't want to spend a ton of money, they can come try it, and usually they like it.
Well, let's talk a little bit about price. What area of price are we talking for something like this?
So this is $250.
Which is a fantastic deal, and we'll talk more about that later. But I want to talk a little bit about the doodads. Mm-hmm. Now, the first thing it has is a light. That is huge. Why?
So you can see where you're sewing,
so you can see where
what
you're
doing.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
yes.
nice.
My machine that I started off with didn't have a light. It had the treadle,
True.
But it didn't have a light.
True.
So it's really nice to be able to see. And show us how the needle threader works.
Well, from this angle, it's a little tricky, but it's just a lever that you bring down, and then it will pull the thread through the eye of the needle, so you don't have to, struggle with it.
Hunt and peck.
Yeah. So that it works well. It's a time saver.
It's a time saver, but it also saves you from drinking heavily because you can't possibly.
Don't drink and sew.
Yeah, don't drink and sew.
That's a good idea.
That's a good motto. So this thread, in my opinion, the light and the needle threader are priceless. And those are the things you want in a basic machine. Now, Maureen told me, she goes, well, all I wanted to do is sew a straight stitch because she might make curtains or whatnot. And it does that. Mm-hmm. But maybe later on, you want to go a little bit higher, a little bit advanced. And what kind of doodads are on here? What's this doodad?
I mean, all kinds of sewing you can do on this machine, but this is the basic stitch selector. So you have A, B, C, D, like that, all there. So you would turn it to, A is your straight, and just from this angle, I can't really see, but D, so you just turn it to D. And then there's a picture right there, so it's pretty easy.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the stitch. What I liked about this stitch, you turned it to D, and actually C and D. These are zigzag stitches. And these are helpful if you want to enclose a seam, and so it doesn't continue raveling, or if you want to join two pieces of fabric together, or if you want to join two pieces of interfacing, and it's called faggoting where you put them together. So that's helpful. Now over here, you have something which is called the blanket stitch. When would you use the blanket stitch?
If you wanted to do like applique or sew along the edge, to finish off an edge,
Exactly.
kind of like an overcast. And this right here will adjust like the width of either the zigzag or the blanket stitch. So it's like, you have different sizes you can do.
So the width, you can have a smaller width and a larger width.
Right.
I recommend to people when they're just starting out to have a piece of scrap fabric and actually label what they're doing. For example, they label what you label A. Are they numbered? Yeah, A. This is what A looks like. Yeah. This is what B looks like. So you can get a feel for, I like this little heart down here. I just noticed it. Joy. And this is a baby lock. I have a baby lock a few levels up, but I like the machine. It's a very solid machine. And when I say that, I'm noticing it is a solid machine. Why is it important that it's solid?
Well, it's metal on the inside, so it gives it stability when you're sewing, but it's just a little more better quality than some other, inexpensive machines that you would see, like you said, in like other big box stores.
Now, my first thought while you were talking about stability, I just had this image of a person sewing with a lesser model, and it's not stable, and the machine is running away from you, and the
flopping
sewer,
around,
and the sewer's going after it, and it has a lot of stability to it, and I like this. Now, is this the only type of thread you can use? I'm not sure if
no, any kind of thread. There's all kinds of threads for sewing machines. This is just like a standard spool, but you can use different kinds of threads. This is a basic machine, so people are mostly going to do basic sewing or learning on it. And I mean, you mentioned like the brand, but that's one thing that's nice about it is if you learn more, or you want to grow and get like a higher machine, what you learned on this can be applied to, the next one. So it's kind of like an easy transition to upgrade, so to speak.
Well, that's very interesting, but I don't understand. I do understand. What are these doodads right here?
So that's for the bobbin. So the bobbin is the thread that's underneath that comes from the bottom. So we call it a bobbin. And that's where you fill the bobbin. So the bobbin winder.
So you don't have to sit and twist and twirl.
Right. This is high tech.
Yeah. I'm trying to think if my treadle had a bobbin thing. It must have had
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, it must have. I loved my treadle. I loved my treadle in the sewing machine. I don't know what happened to it, but I still wish I had it. Well, so this is very interesting. But over here, you pointed out this doodad.
Oh, that's your reverse.
Why would you? It's like driving a car. Why would you want to drive in reverse?
When you sew to the end of the seam, the reverse allows you to kind of back up and secure your stitch at the end. So when you do regular sewing, that's normal.
So you don't.
It's good to have. You just hold it down for a little while, and then it goes backwards, and then you let go.
And so you don't really want to sew backwards unless you have issues, for the rest of your life. But yes.
But you could if you wanted to, but
why?
Whatever floats your boat.
Yeah, okay. So just to recap, it has many things that I like.
Good.
It has the reverse. It has the needle threader. It has the light on and off. And it has the basic stitches these are the ones I use on my upper level machine. I don't really use all the other doodads. And you also have the ability to adjust the width. I like this machine. And it's also good for children. So if my friend is listening to this, her granddaughter might really want one for Christmas, I'm just saying. So now you brought in some, before we go on to the next machine, you brought in some nice fabric. I'll try not to steal it, okay, so you can go home with it.
Yeah.
All right? Would you appreciate that?
Yes.
Now this has a special name to it. What are these called?
So that these are fat quarters, pre-cut, and then we just coordinate them so they kind of go together. And if you want to use them together, fine. If you just like the colors, you can add them to your stash.
Now quilters, if you get into this hobby, the most dangerous thing of all is your stash. What do we mean by stash?
I don't know. I have no clue.
We love
A secret stash? I don't know.
We love to collect fabric. I was in the store about a month ago, and I was there for a specific reason, actually to talk to you. And I thought, let me just go look at some fabric. And there was a woman there buying fabric, and I wanted it too. And I bought this fabric because I absolutely loved it.
Good.
I had nothing to use it for, but I love it. And every once in a while at my studio, I sort of touch it. Because quilters love to touch fabric. So if you see us come in, just touch it. We love to touch fabric. I don't know if you knew that.
Isn't that great, though?
It is.
It brings you enjoyment. It doesn't expire. It doesn't make you overweight or raise your blood pressure or drunk.
Yes, it helps with your... It helps. And you have some other colors. So
Yeah, it's just another assortment of like some spring colors that I just grabbed.
Geez,
but there's so many,
There's thousands. I really hope you go home with them. I hope you have a checklist of what you brought. Now, you also brought in some thread. Now, this thread is a touch different in looks from this thread. Why is that?
It's just a bigger cone. Sometimes people use one color all the time, so they want a large one. But some of the bigger machines take these, specifically. So, again, just a way to see different things that are out there that, they're not foreign looking,
Well, we were talking earlier, and we're planning on having some shows, and one is going to be on thread, and so this would be a good time to... I don't need this thread, so you can keep it when you go home.
Okay.
Just so you know.
Thank you.
Now, if you hand me the white spool, I want to get it out of the way.
Yeah.
We have another machine over here. What is this machine?
So this is it's another basic machine, a different brand. Sometimes people have a preference or they're more comfortable with just the style of the machine or just the way it looks. This one does have buttons, so it's slightly electronic, which is a good thing. I think we're all used to things that are electronic in our lives. So some of these the buttons make it easier to set the stitches. So a machine like this, it's a little bit of a step up from that. So it has more stitches, more stitch options. So the buttons allow you to just pick it by number. So,
So
you may not
pulled out
see
something from underneath the machine.
Yeah.
Did you break the machine?
No, it's a card that shows you like the stitches and then there's numbers. It might be hard to see.
Probably is hard to see.
Every machine will have assortment of stitches. So, for example, you would pick, say, number 36, stitch number 36, and then you type in 36, and then it will sew that pattern. So rather than having like dials all over the machine, that's what I tell people. You'd have a big dial this big,
Right.
So because there's like 60 or whatever stitches on here. So it's just easier just to punch in, kind of like your microwave, like, you just push the buttons.
Oh, that's a good comparison.
So it's not a bad thing. It makes it easier and simpler and just more time to focus on sewing.
And that's a good thought. And what I liked about that card is that it's right there. You don't. It's not separate.
Like a quick reference. Yeah, it's right there.
You're not going to lose it. And that's now. Are there stitches on there that people don't use, or do people usually use all those stitches?
I mean, there's always an assortment, and no, I would say people don't use every one, but you might like some. Somebody else might like others. Like there's a heart on here. There's different scallops. There's different quilting stitches. So
Oh, I do.
I mean,
like
it's
the
nice to have the variety, and that's really how it is. Is certain things you'll use, and somebody else, will use other ones. So, and you can, maybe you're into one thing now, but later you get into other things. So that's the other thing about sewing is you can grow with it. You can expand on what you do.
Well, that's really interesting because that's absolutely correct. My friend Maureen is just interested in doing the running stitch or the basic stitch, but I'm hoping to get her to enjoy the sewing machine, maybe come to my studio with her machine.
Yeah.
And what I like about it is these are so very, very portable. And the other day, we were talking about her granddaughter, and I said, Maureen, I do have a lot of fabric. I could let your granddaughter have some. And she said and I started having heart palpitations as I said it. And she said something to me she goes, I wouldn't think of asking you for your fabric. I can definitely go buy her some. And I'm thinking, I can't give her my fabric. It's my fabric. Do you have people that are that possessive of their fabric?
I guess, yeah.
No, and she's a sweet little kid, but
yeah.
I couldn't give her my fabric.
You would have given her some. I
You
know
think
you would.
so?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. So what is just to recap, I did want to mention the brand Singer. I love the Singer name because that's the first name I knew. When I took home ec, those were the machines that we used in class. Well, they don't have home ec anymore, but and Singer doesn't seem to be as predominant anymore. What happened to them?
Well, I mean, just, they had their issues as far as the company goes, but they were like the most popular for a while. They kind of went away just because they were focusing, I think, on different things than other sewing machine companies were focusing on. But they're back now, but in the basic, in the basic line. So you'll see them in like the entry level like this, What's nice about this machine too is it is metal inside. So again, some machines, they don't have a lot of metal, so they're not as sturdy and they don't last as long and can't really service them. So it's a nice little machine, and Singer's still popular, especially in this area because it was originally from this area.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was from Connecticut.
Wow.
Yeah.
Push in the card because I want you
Yeah.
to move the machine for the weight.
Yeah.
The-
Yeah, I mean,
that has a nice heft to it.
It's sturdy, and again, there's a metal frame. That's important. This comes off too, so that if someone wants to hem, so yes, you can hem on these machines. So if you want to like shorten some pants, or you go to Goodwill and they're not perfect, you can shorten them. Just slide your the leg, pant leg over there. That's what that's for, which is nice. And this is, I mean, it's nice. This slides on easy and off,
This one doesn't
This
do
just
that.
has a little one, yeah. So you can still do the hemming, it's just a little
interesting.
simpler one, So
Yes.
it's all what you want. I mean, the best thing, you mentioned your friend, like, you don't have to spend a ton of money to get something decent. People they come in, they're like, oh, I don't want to spend it, like there's plenty of options, but come and try it, because it's like you want to be comfortable. You don't want to say, oh, I'm just getting a machine and going home with it, because it is a machine. It's an actual tool that you're going to use and get something out of,
Well, you just said something very important. You can't try them in the big box stores, but you don't know. If you're a beginner, you don't know which one you like. But if you can sit down and say, well, maybe this is fine. But if you don't like the sound of, I sit down in your store all the time and try different machines. I have machine envy and machine lust.
Yeah, that's good.
And fabric lust and envy.
Yeah.
So, but I look at this machine and it's like, well, maybe I do want that for another. I don't remember what you said. Something like that goes for $300.
$350.
Yeah. And so, and I think these are good options, but if people still want to go back to the big box stores, that's fine. But just know one thing, going to any sewing store, and they're all around Connecticut and New England, is you have something that's really important. You have training and you have maintenance. Mm-hmm. And why is the maintenance so important?
Well, I mean, it's, if you have a question about your machine or something goes wrong with the machine, I mean, a warranty is no good if there's nobody there to help you, you know? So some people get confused by that. But, when you get it from a store that's going to support, the machine, whether it's how to thread it or how to use the machine or if something happens or how do I clean it or what if this happens. I mean, we do service in our store, so it's normal for us to help people,
Yes.
But if you use your machine and you want it to last a long time, you bring it in like annually, kind of like your car or whatever, and we clean it out. We go inside, we lubricate, we take broken pins out and threads and stuff like that, so they can be serviced. And, that's something that we do every day. So if there's ever an issue or just for cleaning, we do that too. But you said an important thing, like being able to try it is good. Like, why buy something that you're not going to like,
Right.
And then also figuring out what one is best for you. That's something that that's like the main thing that we do. Cause like you look at a picture and pick one out, that's not going to help you.
Well, I equate it to, I'm a big photography buff. And when I first got my first camera, I had a Pentax SP500. And it was manual. It didn't do much. I mean, it just did what I needed it to do. And now I have an Olympus that I swear it can make drinks and serve food. It's, so it's like you buy what you need and then you find out what you need. Because maybe I bought this machine and I found out I wanted to do some of those fancy projects. And I know that's how I was with, when I was in high school, I made my husband, who I am now divorced from, a sports coat. And I was so thrilled, and I made him wear it everywhere. So, but the poor thing, maybe that's why I'm divorced. Who knows? But do you think that's it, Paul?
Might be one reason.
Okay, fine. So, Paul, we're almost out of time, but I understand you sew or you quote. Tell me what you do.
What I do? I mean, I work all day and, talk to customers.
Work. Okay.
But I do know how to work the machines. I have sewn. I do know how to sew. I don't go home and sew when I get home. I hang out with my family. But, I teach some classes and, yeah, I do.
Well, teaching classes, the classes are really important. And, maybe someday I can convince you to bring in your quilt that you made. Would you?
It's on my daughter's bed. One of them, yes, absolutely.
Is it really?
Yes, yeah. I'll bring it next time.
What is this?
I made that when I was in high school, but we'll talk about that next time.
And it's still around? Because you're not a puppy anymore.
No, if you use good fabric and you sew it correctly, this stuff holds up.
Oh, now that's an heirloom, that quilt.
I'm not that old.
Yeah, well, okay, fine. So, Paul, I'm looking forward to doing future shows with you. This is and I hate to say this, I have an absolute terrific machine. I love my sewing machine. There's no question about it. But when I see this, I'm thinking these are kind of cute, but I don't need them. But I don't think need is in my vocabulary. But if you see me sneak into the store and touch fabric, don't yell at me, okay?
I won't. I would never.
Okay, good. Paul, I want to thank you for coming on the show. If people want to get in contact with you, I'm looking for my notes, they can go to closetohome.com and all the stores.
Closetohomestores.com.
Was I wrong again?
It's okay.
Yeah,
just because somebody else took Close to Home before us. So.
Who are they?
Closetohomestores.com is our website. You can see the classes and stuff and just
all the
see
stores.
about our store and our family. Yeah.
Yes,
cool.
yes. Closetohomestores.com.
Yep.
And if you'd like to contact me, you can contact me at wiseworks365@gmail.com. And if you have any questions, if you have some questions for Paul and you want to contact me and I can forward it to Paul, that would be fine. Or if you have some ideas of shows that you'd like to let me know about, that's fine too. We're very loose here at Wyse Talk. You know, we're very loose. But I want to thank you for coming,
Thank you for having me.
and I'm looking forward to seeing you again.
Thank you.